Welcome back to the channel, and in this edition of Gigs and Guitars we are carrying on the theme of affordable guitars by looking at this beautiful Fender Vintera Road Worn Stratocaster from the 50s, I think it's called. So stay tuned for a review on this fantastic guitar. Welcome back to the channel, and in continuing with our series on affordable guitars which won't break the bank, this is the Fender 50s Vintera Road Worn from 2021, which we bought used some months ago, and we're going to talk you through why we bought it, what problems we found, and what it's like today. But more importantly, later in the video we're going to tell you how much we paid for it. So what is this guitar? Well, to be honest, it looks like any generic Fender. It's made in Mexico, but to find out a little bit more, I went onto the Fender website and I put the guitar serial number, which you can find on the back of the headstock here, with it being a Mexican branded guitar, and I printed off this guitar spec sheet, and what it tells me is very simply it's a Fender Vintera Road Worn 50 Stratocaster. It was made in 2021, but interestingly on the front here it gives you a description of what the guitar has been marketed to. So it basically tells me that the Vintera Road Worn 50 Stratocaster recreates the look and feel of a well-loved original. Finished in nitrocellulose lacquer, prized for its natural tonal qualities and distinct aging patterns, then hand distressed for an authentically broken-in look. This Strat delivers the bell-like tone and playing comfort you'd expect from a great vintage guitar. Well, when you look at the guitar, it's a beautiful surf green maple neck, vintage appointments all over the guitar, and I have to say, on face value, it looks absolutely fantastic. It really does. I like it. It's got everything you need to make this a brilliant guitar. So how did we end up with this? Well, basically it's not my guitar, it's my son's guitar, and he was basically moving on from his previous up guitars to something intermediate, something affordable, something that wasn't going to break the bank. And we went on a little bit of a mission visiting our local dealerships, and we came across this at a retail store not too far from us here in Blackpool in Lancashire, and this was a used item. The actual guitar caught James's eye because he likes the relicking kind of stuff. I like it. It does say in the description it's hand finished, and it does look pretty good. And it is now 3 years old. We've had it a few months now. Anyway, so it caught James's eye. He played it in the shop and he absolutely loved it. So we did a little bit of a deal with the actual retailer, and within the actual sort of price of the guitar, we got a free set of strings, or several sets of strings, to be honest. I think we got 2 sets. It was advertised as coming with a gig bag, which Fender says it does come with on here, but we ended up walking away with this in a genuine black hard shell Fender case, and that represented great value for money. But there was 1 or 2 problems with this guitar, and I did a setup on this in the last few days. One of the issues, which I'll come to on all the guitars, was the neck relief. It was double that what Fender recommended, and so the first job really was to whip the neck off, and let's have a look at the truss rod. Now, with it being a vintage spec guitar, your truss rod adjustment, as always, is at the bottom of the neck, just there. So what we have to do is pop the neck off, take the neck out, get a screwdriver in, course, we've taken all the strings off, and at that point I found that the truss rod was not even tight. It was very loose. In fact, I got the impression that when the guitar was made in Mexico, the truss rod was basically just put into the guitar, and it wasn't even tightened up. The guitar's then been shipped to the UK. It's gone to a dealership somewhere, probably remained in its box, and I would imagine somebody's bought it online, and it's just been sent out in that state. I think it has. Anyway, so what I did was I tightened up the truss rod just so I got a little bit of resistance on it, put the strings back on, put the neck back into the guitar, and we basically tuned it back up, measured the neck relief with a set of feeler gauges with a capo on the 1st fret, holding it down at the 21st fret and measuring at the 8th fret what the clearance is between the top of the 8th fret and the bottom of the fat E string here. And to be honest, it was double what Fender recommended. So neck back off, quarter of a turn on the truss rod, and we're back where Fender recommends it should be. It was that simple. The neck is absolutely spot on. And that was one thing that, you know, when you're buying stuff, say for example, this price point, and I think the recommended retail price of this guitar at the time was just over £1,000. In fact, I think it was around about £1,050 in 2021 when this guitar came out. So that then left me during the setup process to work my way through the guitar, and it had two further problems. One was the jack plug was basically unreliable. It was turning around. It needed tightening up on the actual nut that holds it in place. In order to do that, I've had to remove the jack plate socket from the body of the guitar and basically tighten up that nut so it doesn't come undone, which is often the case on more expensive guitars as well. But at the same time, I've actually adjusted the contact within the jack socket as well, the jack plug, to make sure it's got a better connection. It's now in there very solidly, and it now needs a decent tug to get it out, and it's got a right nice click when it goes back in, so it's secure. And it's always going to have a good connection for the ultimate tone, which is what you want. So that was sorted out. So during the setup, I realised that one of the actual machine heads, the vintage tuners here, particularly this one, the screw at the back there, if I just show you that screw there was insecure, it was slightly loose, and that allowed the machine head to wobble around. So that was quite a quick fix as well. And I think what's probably happened is that somebody's played this for a couple of years and they found a little bit of a problem, which is what we found. In the upper register around here, all that area was full of fret buzz, full of muted notes, which basically made it a little bit unplayable. It was fine down here, and that was just solely to the neck relief not being what Fender recommended. So it's gone from Mexico to the UK, it's gone to the retailer, probably from the owner, to the retailer that we bought it from, and nobody's actually touched the neck until I've actually done it myself. And it plays beautifully now, it really does. There's no fret buzz anywhere on this neck now, so. And it sounds great, and if I put that in the upper register, this guitar couldn't do that. And just with a simple bit of time and just having a little bit of understanding about how to set a guitar up, you can actually transform a guitar. So those were the three issues with the guitar. And what I have done since with it, to get it somewhere where James wants the playability to suit him, I've reduced the action just slightly, and it now plays, I think, as nice as my black Strat, which is the benchmark of all the guitars that I have here in my collection, which we talked about when we did the Fender Telecaster video a month or two ago. So this plays absolutely beautifully. Now I've got a quick tip for you guys out there. Now the actual adjustment in terms of the saddle heights on Stratocaster bridges, it really needs the use of a 50,000th of an inch hexagonal Allen key. We all keep losing those. They get hoovered up on the floor, they get knocked off tables, and you think, oh, where is it? I can't find it. And when you come to adjust your action, you haven't got the key to hand. But I have bought one of these. and it came from a model shop in the UK that deals with radio controlled cars, and I bought that, and it's got a 50,000th of an inch head on the end of it, which fits just nicely in there. And I can see by the markings on the end of this screwdriver exactly how much or how less I'm putting on to the adjustment of this vintage tailpiece. I think that's brilliant, that. And what I will do, I'll put a link to this screwdriver in the description so you can get one for yourself. And that, I can't see me losing that. I don't think it's going to get vacuumed up. If it does, we're all in trouble. And it's by a company called Aramax. If you can see that just on there, it's probably going to focus on my head. And that for me will last me years. And I've just set up this guitar with it. I've done a Fender Telecaster with it this week. And that is invaluable. That's going in the toolbox, and I'll probably never lose that. So what we have now is a guitar which plays brilliantly. It sounds great. Now the neck pickup position is always the go-to position for me when I'm playing a Stratocaster guitar. I think it sounds absolutely great. Position 4 or position 2, whichever way you call it, I'm not really bothered, but this sounds equally nice. In the middle position. Position 2 or position 4, whichever you call it. We're heading towards the bridge now. Heading towards the bridge. The volume's on 8 at the minute. Bring the volume up. So you've heard some great tones from this Fender Vintera 50s Stratocaster in surf green with a nitro cellulose finish. So did it offer us some great value for money? Well, we had to fix the machine head, we had to do the truss rod adjustment, and we had to sort the action out, and we had to sort out a slightly defective jack plug and socket. But all in all, is it a bargain? And I have to agree that this looks absolutely fantastic with its nitro finish and its surf green colour scheme. It looks pure vintage, and the sounds that come from this guitar are absolutely brilliant. So what do we pay for it? Well, we paid £400 from a retailer in Lancashire. We got a genuine Fender hardshell case, which is thrown into the deal. We got 2 sets of strings, and to be honest, with the little bits of tweaks we've had to do with this guitar, I think it represents fantastic value for money. It's got the Fender logo on the headstock, and to be honest, this is now a guitar which my son is going to love for years. It's one of those you could gig with this forever, and it just represents the ultimate in terms of a bargain. It is used, and I do think it's been shipped from Mexico to the UK. It's been put in a box, and it's probably remained in a box until it's arrived at somebody's doorstep, probably mail order. They've played it for a year or so, and they've had all the fret buzz up round here, which is now not there. and I think they've gone and chopped it in, traded it in. It's ended up at the retailers that we went to. They've not touched the truss rod or anything to do with it, the loose machine head as we mentioned. And with a few tweaks at this end, we've ended up with a great guitar, or should I say my son's ended up with a great guitar. It's absolutely fantastic, and look, it's absolutely marvellous, and I can't get enough of it. Now, what we will do in the next few weeks, we will pitch it against a custom shop version of this guitar, and we will see how it compares. So stay tuned for that one, guys, and if you like this video, let me know. And if you want to make a comment about the value of this guitar, please leave me a comment below in the video. You know where it is, and we'll see you next time for Gigs and Guitars. Ta-ra!